The morning is by far the most productive time of the day for me. It determines whether I'm going to have an extremely productive day or just a pretty average day, because I've realised that if I have a really productive morning, then it's likely that the momentum and energy will carry on throughout the rest of the day. On the other hand, if I have an unproductive morning, then probably the rest of my day will be unproductive too. So I've spent quite a lot of time thinking about curating my perfect morning routine, a routine that promotes productivity that will kickstart the rest of my day, because I've tried probably dozens of different morning routines over the last few years. Some routines worked, some didn't, but basically in this video I'm going to go over what I consider the perfect morning routine. I will mention that my morning routine is slightly modified, so this is my office right here where I work now at home pretty much all day because of the complete lockdown, so I'm not able to go to the office or go to the coffee shops to work or whatever. But that's why now more than ever a productive morning routine is absolutely essential, because it's so easy to fall into this trap of procrastination day in, day out when in lockdown, when you're surrounded by the same four walls every day. And real quick before I start, I've just added 2 hours and 40 minutes of new lecture material to the Transform Your Grades course. I've added 2 mini courses, one on teaching you how to make your 24 hours as productive as possible, and the other on how to beat procrastination. I'm always making upgrades and improvements to the course. We still have the 50% offer going on. There's a link in the description below for you to check it out. These days I wake up at 6 AM, and waking up early for me is incredibly important when it comes to productivity. Throughout 3 years studying for my bachelor's degree, I used to wake up at 4:45 AM, but since moving from the UK to Vietnam, I have tried it for a few months, but honestly, it just wasn't working for me. It didn't really fit into my work schedule, because Vietnam, where I am now, is 6 hours ahead of the UK, and the UK is where I was born and where I have friends and family and a lot of clients over there too, and I was often on phone and Zoom meetings and Skype calls until 12 or 1 in the morning, so waking up at 4:45 AM because of the time differences just didn't really work. I do wish that my schedule would make it easier to wake up earlier, because I do prefer waking up well before 5 AM. I just think that time of day is beautiful when most people are still asleep and the streets are empty, but it is what it is. Maybe in the future I'll adjust my sleeping pattern accordingly, who knows. So literally as soon as I wake up, I brush my teeth, then I go straight to my desk and work for about 2 hours, pretty much non-stop. Now that's kind of a weird thing to do as the first thing you do after waking up, right? But it's something that I started doing maybe 3 or 4 months ago now, but it makes my whole day so much more productive, because usually in the morning I'm at my most productive and I can focus easily because there are far fewer distractions. No one is messaging me, no one is calling me, so it's a really good time to get some solid work done. And over the last few months I've been really focusing on not working more hours, but instead increasing the productivity in those hours that I do work. In fact, I'm actually moving in the direction of working fewer hours, so instead of working 12 hours, I'm aiming to work only 8 hours, but still get the same amount of work done. Basically working smarter rather than harder, right? Essentially because I want to fit more into my day. I want to spend more time networking, socializing, working on my fitness, that kind of thing. And this pandemic and lockdown has kind of slowed that progress down a bit, but nonetheless, that's the direction that I'm still aiming for. The night before, I'll set a list of tasks that I need to do the next day, so as soon as I wake up, I know what I need to do to get working on straight away. So when I'm doing my 2 hours of really intense work in the morning, these are usually the most important tasks, meaning that basically I start the day off on a win. I feel good because I've been productive and I've not allowed procrastination to influence my day in any way. Okay, so I've just done 2 hours of work. I love working in the morning. It's quite easy for me to kind of reach a state of flow because there really are no distractions. But this is the thing about morning routines. I really don't think that they should be replicated, meaning I don't necessarily think you should be watching this video and copy my morning routine exactly step by step to the finest detail, because your morning routine should be yours. It needs to be molded to your own schedule. On the other hand though, there are kind of concepts that you can take from someone else's morning routine and bring them to your own. So for example, I now get a solid chunk of work done as soon as I wake up in the morning, and I got that idea from reading, I don't remember who it was, but it wasn't my idea, right? Nonetheless, I added that strategy to my mornings and it has been incredibly effective with increasing my productivity. Anyway, it's about 8 AM, I'm going to go shower and go and get ready. I've built two main habits into my morning routine. The first one is to exercise at least for an hour every day. I'm actually doing P90X, it's a 90-day workout, and I'm about 40 days in, and so far so good. If the gyms were open, I'd usually go to the gym for an hour, or if the swimming pools were open, I'd go swimming for an hour, but to be honest, I don't actually mind working out at home. In fact, I actually quite like it. I just bought a set of 50kg dumbbells that have been awesome. They're quite expensive, about $300 I think, but worth every penny. My second daily habit that I've built up is to learn Vietnamese for 30 minutes a day, 7 days a week. Again, it's not a lot, but it's more about consistency than intensity, right? So I did have a problem at first with keeping this habit up. I could keep up my exercise habit up every day, but I struggled with keeping up my Vietnamese habit. But then I remembered something that I read in Atomic Habits a few months ago called habit stacking. And it's basically where if you're struggling to maintain a habit, you just stick that habit onto one of your existing habits. So I exercised 7 days a week and I had no problem with that. So then straight after, I would go to learn Vietnamese, and it really worked for me. Now I do both of them together, and I've been keeping it up for, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 months now, and so far I've not missed a single day. Like I said earlier in the video, I've tried a lot of different morning routines, and some things stuck and others didn't. I remember when I was living in Amsterdam and my morning routine was so complicated. I'd wake up, meditate for 15 minutes, do yoga for 15 minutes, stretching for 15 minutes, language learning for 30 minutes, and honestly it was just far too complicated. And I see a lot of morning routines on YouTube and they do so much in the morning. I'm like, do you really do all of those things every morning? Maybe they do, I don't know. But for me, I like to keep things really simple. I wake up and immediately get 2 hours of intense work done, then shower, get ready, then 1 hour of exercise, 30 minutes of language learning, then I'm back to work again. And that for me is a solid but simple morning routine. And if you're struggling to wake up early, I made a video on how I wake up at 4:45 AM every single morning at university, and it's probably a lot easier than you think once you make it into a habit. You can click on the video on the screen. Alternatively, if you're struggling with making your day productive and you're struggling with procrastination, I also made a video on how I beat procrastination. Again, you can click on the card on the screen, and whichever video you choose, I'll see you over there.